Coming up next, we have Chris Mangione. He's the co-founder and CEO of Temple Lifestyle.
Hey Erin, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very good, very good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. How are you enjoying BevNET Live so far? It's kind of crazy
awesome.
right now.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. I'm surprised we have never come before, so we're 4 of us here, and we've been enjoying the Taste Radio podcasts for the last few months, and it inspired us to come. I'm really happy we came.
Yeah, I'm glad you came as well. So let's talk a little bit about the platform strategy of Temple Lifestyle. Just to start, can you tell us a little bit about just your brand portfolio?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So maybe I'll take you back to the beginning. So we started out as an importer distributor of a multitude of brands, importing them into Canada. And after about 2 years of doing that, exploring different categories, we decided to get into the coconut water business. So our first brand was Thirsty Buddha, and we're pretty much a category captain up in Canada. So we've crushed it up there. And we're now, after 6 years of being in the market, beverages as well as snacks with Hungry Buddha, we're in the process of ideation as well as planning our next brand, which should launch in early 2020. I can't tell you too much more, but we're super stoked about it.
So what kind of inspired you to start this platform just for coconut products?
Well, the platform is not just for coconut products. Buddha Brands is coconut specific. But in terms of the platform, we saw a need in the industry, a void, in the sense that a lot of small brands, it's very difficult, especially in the early years. You don't have the synergy. It's difficult for the retailer. So we were trying to help bridge that gap, and we have been working towards that, where we can become a real resource for the retailer by having a multitude of emerging brands versus just a single brand. So I think we're close, and again, we've invested a lot in our people. We have an awesome team based out of Montreal, and then we also have a ton that we've invested in our infrastructure, so technology, awesome ERP, and just making significant investments in the infrastructure as well as the ecosystem, so that we have the platform to build on with the right brands.
So tell me a little bit about your U.S. distribution strategy, because I know you guys started in Canada, and you're available in stores in the U.S. as well. So what's kind of your strategy for the jump from Canada to the U.S.?
Great question. I mean, the U.S. is obviously a whole different game. It's a huge market, and so far we've been building up our network. Brokers, retailers, we're pretty strong in the West and Southwest, as well as in the Northeast. So we've got some great retailer partnerships, and we're continuing to leverage those and build on those while we learn the market. Again, it's a very, very different animal market, and we're taking our time. So sparkling's a big part of it right now, sparkling coconut water. We launched it about 2.5 years ago, and it's been crushing it for us. So we just launched 2 new flavors, and so we're pretty excited about that. So really it's learning the market, and we'll probably put a little bit more heat behind the brand in the coming years.
So you guys are in Walmart, correct?
Yeah, Walmart Northeast.
Right. And I was just talking to Melissa about that, kind of how Walmart is starting more and more to, help emerging brands kind of grow. What have you kind of seen with how Walmart has helped you guys get some eyes on your product?
They're a great partner. I mean, we're a partner with them nationally up in Canada. I think, our brand resonates with their customer. We're also in Wegmans in the Northeast. It's a great retailer, fantastic partnership. And then if you look at on the Southwest, whether it's H-E-B and Whole Foods, again, great partnerships. So I think all retailers are looking at emerging brands and how can they, play in that space and help those brands. At the end of the day, it's what you're bringing to the table to help them as well. So.
And do you kind of try to focus on getting into smaller retailers and kind of building up that presence, or are you guys looking at, getting into larger retailing?
I think when you look at coconut water specifically, or coconut chips, the category is quite evolved, and so it's definitely a conventional play. At the same time, so mainstream, it's definitely not a niche category. So when you look at, I guess in the US type of strategy, it's definitely going after the big guys and working with them. In Canada, we're across all the big guys, all the independents as well. But I'd say that it's probably a little bit tougher game in the US to go after the indies. Because it's been around for quite a while now, and so I don't want to say there's saturation in that space, but there's already the big brands that are playing there. So we're looking to innovate, and again, sparkling's been a big piece of our innovation. I think we've been one of the leaders in the category. So we're looking to differentiate ourselves with that, and whether it's the indies or the majors, we're winning there.
So speaking of kind of that oversaturation, that innovation, how do you guys feel, what are the challenges of kind of standing out on the shelf among so many different coconut brands, coconut water brands, how do you do it?
I mean, you got to take a lot of time and be thoughtful about your brand, but I'd say the biggest difference between Canada and the US is probably capital. We're still a private company. I'm pretty proud that we've been able to bootstrap this business from the beginning and grow it ourselves, but at the end of the day in the US it takes capital. It's a big market, you've got to be prepared to invest. And so that's where, again, for us, we're really feeling out the market, understanding what's going on, understanding the type of retailers that are south of the border for us, and probably going to do our first round in the next 6 to 12 months. We're at that stage where we feel like we've pushed ourselves, we know enough about our business, we're ready to build the platform. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the coconut water category, just in a kind of a general sense. How do you think that it's evolved? And because we see so many brands out there now, like where was it? Where has it become such a big category now? What are you seeing?
I mean, I have to give credit to the people who pioneered the category. Where is it now? It's a mature category. You're seeing in the U.S. Less and less brands coming out in that space, and again, so typically, from my experience, when you have categories, emerging categories, there's a flock of new brands that enter it. You're seeing it now with CBD. You see it with healthy energy, and then they grow, gets to maturation, and then starts to consolidate. And you're seeing it in kombucha also. So I think that's what's happened with coconut water. It's not like people have stopped drinking it. In fact, I think people are drinking it more. It's just they are choosing their brands. So, the consolidation of that space and that category has happened. And again, in Canada, we're leading that way. And in the US, again, how do we differentiate ourselves with our sparkling coconut water, as well as our organic fair trade coconut water?
And I think that we've seen a lot, like sparkling is becoming a huge thing with coconut water, but there's also, I feel like a lot of brands are taking that next step further and doing like functional coconut water, hemp infused, or there's some collagen coconut water coming out. Is that something you guys are interested in, and what do you guys kind of think of like the next step of coconut water?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think functionality is huge. I mean, coconut water was, started because of its functionality, right? So hydration, electrolytes. And so it's I think, totally aligned with its ethos to bring in more functionality, and I definitely think, I can't tell you exactly what's in the pipeline for us, just because it's being worked on and being finalized, but in terms of CBD, again, for sure, wellness play, when you look at adaptogens, you look at collagen, again, for us, inside of Buddha brand's portfolio, we're plant-based. We're not going down the road of adding in animal protein. So, if we want to add in protein, we'd go down the road of a pea protein or, more of a plant-based protein.
And then something that's interesting about Buddha brands is your focus on sustainability, and I know you guys kind of have efforts, environmental efforts. Can you talk about that a little bit and how you think that resonates with your audience? Do you guys do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from the get-go of the company, we've always pledged 1% of our sales to 1% for the planet. It's something that's very dear to us, and it's going on 8 years that we've been donating, and it's especially difficult when you're flirting the line with break even or losing a bit of money. But it's something that it's ingrained in our core values, and I'm super proud of what we've been able to do, the types of charities that we've been able to donate back to, whether it's water wells and developing them with Oceania. So I think it's super important, and we see it more and more, where sustainability is core to any brand. It's kind of like, it's a box you have to check. And again, I'm proud that we were doing it from the get-go of the business. So does it differentiate you? I think it does. But that being said, if you're doing it just to check a box, then I don't think it does. So is it a part of your core values? How are you doing things different than other businesses? Because everybody can say, hey, yeah, we give back or we do this. So how are you doing it differently than other businesses?
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on the live stream, and looking forward to everything you guys have in store for us.
Thank you very much, and I just want to give you guys props. I mean, your Taste Radio is awesome. Everybody
that's
in
all
our
right.
office.
I don't want to take any of the credit for that, but yes, thank you.
But it's really awesome, and I just want to thank you guys for putting out awesome content.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by.